All right, so here's my worry about Fang Drakai of Blades. First of all, who is Fang Drakai of Blades? He's the new Royal Draconic Warrior hero coming out in The Hunted, which you can see right there. Boom, The Hunted, barely cut off at the top of my window capture. Of course, I can zoom out and make it better, but then you don't see, Fang in the cool border. Anyway, he is a 4 intellect, 40 health Royal Draconic Warrior hero, and I'm a decent fan of warriors. For those that don't know, I'm a big wizard fan. I like wizard. Wizard's my favorite class. Blaze is my favorite hero ever created in the game of Flesh and Blood. It's official. Period. End of story. Kano's like pretty close behind her, but I think she's taken the top spot. But if I'm not talking about wizards, I would be playing Kasai of the Golden Sands in CC, a warrior, non-talented warrior. I think she's very talented, but doesn't have a talent to her name. I would be playing Dromai, the Dragon Lady herself, which I could have sworn was going to be in this set, but apparently not. Dromai, the Empress herself, is not in the set that's about Volcor hunting down the assassin of the Emperor. Nevertheless, I'm a big fan of Draconic Illusionist, and I'm also a big fan of Riptide. Riptide's a really awesome hero that I think is really, really fun to play and kind of plays around with the Ranger archetype in ways that, or the Ranger class, I should say, in ways that other archetypes don't really explore. Those are heroes that I like outside of Wizard. And of course, like I mentioned, one of those is Warrior. Nevertheless, I'm not sure how to feel about Fang Drakai of Blades here, and the reason is this. His effect says whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. So let's go ahead and look at those. Marked is a status effect. Essentially, you just give to one of your opponents via cards or other effects that would give this. So it says you are marked until an opponent hits you, and it just stays there, which is kind of interesting. This card is the one we used last time when we talked about Syndra to show you that marking is relatively worth a card. I mean, this pitches for 1 resource. It does not block at all. It's an instant. It is a Draconic card, and it marks a target opposing hero. So against everybody except for Arachne, this just marks that hero. Of course, if you're playing against Arachne, it gains you a resource as well, which could be cool. But overall, yes, it's just there for a card equals mark. So whenever Fang hits a marked hero, you create a fealty token. A fealty token, like we talked about last time, says instant destroy it. It's an aura that just sits out. Instant, you destroy it. The next card you play this turn is Draconic. You can choose when to destroy this so that you can make something Draconic. But at the beginning of your end phase, if you haven't created another one of these fealty tokens or this fealty token that it's referencing itself on that turn, or if you didn't play a Draconic card that turn, you destroy the fealty tokens. Okay, so step 1, you have to mark a target. Step 2, then you have to hit said marked target. Step 3, the payoff is a fealty token. Okay? So that we can make more things Draconic is the point. But also, here's the second portion of this text. If you control 3 or more fealty tokens, Dagger attacks cost you 1 less to activate. Now, we talked last week about Syndra Drakai of Retribution, and we theorized that there would be Draconic, perhaps just ninja daggers, or just Draconic daggers in general, and that they would likely cost 1. Now, with Syndra, we can kind of assume that they are going to have some sort of a blade break effect, where they break after being used, or maybe when the combat chain closes, or when they hit, something to that effect, they would break. With Fang, we can take some of that information and we can sort of extrapolate it out. We can probably assume that his daggers are going to cost 1, that they're probably going to deal 1 damage, but that they probably don't break. Okay, so what does that mean if they cost 1, which is likely what they're going to cost? Well, it means that if you control 3 or more fealty tokens, then they would be free. We can also assume that they probably have Go Again built in. You know what? And that begs the question. If we go here and we search for Quicksilver Dagger, the Quicksilver Dagger says it's a 1 damage warrior dagger. That says once per turn action, pay 1 to attack. If another weapon you control has gained Go Again this turn, Quicksilver Dagger has Go Again. So this can be our blueprint for other warrior daggers. I do think that this is a good way to think about how Fang is going to function. We can probably assume that it, well, I don't know if we can assume that the daggers are going to be baked in Go Again. But what we can do is look at a couple of cards down here that are quite good for Draconic Warrior. This one says for each Draconic chain link you control, choose one. Target dagger attack gets +2, so it would go from 1 to a 3. That is my assumption. You may attack with target dagger an additional time this turn, and the next time it hits a hero, you mark them, so you can get the payoff later. Now, one of the options is not giving something go again. This is why I think the daggers will have go again baked in, but this is not why I'm a little worried about him. I'm worried that we almost, and this is probably not the case, because the biggest thing is that we don't necessarily have a very large card pool to really understand how Fang is going to function. Hence why I haven't made this video for a while, because I've really just tried to mull it over. But we don't, at this point, have a huge payoff for being Fang, Drakai of Blades. And we're given a lot of hoops to jump through to get to this point where our dagger attacks cost us 1 less to activate. Now, it could just be that the payoff is the friends we made along the way. And by that, I mean that we are Royal Draconic Hero. It could just mean that we have access to a very solid Draconic card pool, very aggressive Draconic card pool. That could be the payoff. It could be a situation where we are Olympia, another warrior. That one not talented, but another warrior that appeared to have the gold payoff and didn't really see it within the set, and the jury's still out on whether or not we are going to see his payoff down the line, because visit the Golden Anvil, it was not. Fang Drakai of Blades is giving off some of those vibes, okay? It's giving off just that aura of there's a lot to meet here, and the payoff on the card is that dagger attacks cost you 1 less to activate, making your daggers free. But that could be enough based on some of the other cards. I already talked about Long Whisker Loyalty. I read this card. By the way, this is an attack reaction. And if you do have the 3 Draconic chain links, for example, if you use this, like let's say you have a go again attack to start off, like a physical attack, which we can assume he's going to attack physically. You're going to have a go again attack, and then you're going to follow up with dagger number 1, hopefully with go again, and then dagger number 2. That would be the 3rd Draconic chain link. Then you would be able to choose all 3 modes. Target dagger attack gets +2, so it would be instead of a 1 attack, it'd be a 3 attack. You can attack with it again. It would keep the buff, very similar to Blood on Her Hands, our spoiler from Everfest all those years ago. And the next time it hits, which assuming it would hit on this 3rd chain link, perhaps, you can mark your target, which again is likely going to be a good payoff. It really just depends on cards like this, which is, maybe the payoff, but we can assume there's going to be better cards down the line. When this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. Again, it allows you to make certain things that you wouldn't normally have be Draconic. Okay, and again, that's the other thing we don't quite know, and that's why I'm a little worried about Fang here, that he could be a little underpowered, is that we're not sure how much these fealty tokens are going to matter. Now, that is a beautiful card, and here's the thing. If they make a beautiful card, it probably matters a good bit, but we don't know yet how this is really going to pay off. But what we do know is that we could play like generic attacks, like good generic attacks, and make them Draconic. And that could lead to a good payoff. Like Enlightened Strike, tucking a card with go again, popping a fealty token beforehand means that that is now a Draconic attack, and we can continue our turn after that. And then, of course, there are other possible payoffs. There's a couple of stances which are really cool, like go again at the start of your turn. This is an aura. Destroy this, and you can attack with each dagger an additional time this turn, so you're getting extra points of value, especially if your daggers are free. So you're basically cobbling together your own version of Blood on Her Hands, but you're doing it with multiple cards. Agility stance, go again at the start of your turn. Destroy this. Your next dagger attack gets go again this turn. This one is the one that makes me think maybe we don't have go again built into the cards. Like, so maybe we're all playing Blade Runner now, and that's just what we do. And see, again, this card kind of worries me, because it's like, if the daggers don't have baked in go again, or like some easy to turn on go again activation there, and we're sort of conceding that we all have to play Blade Runner and stuff to that effect. And Blade Runner affects just weapons. I think one-handed weapon. if it affects only swords, yeah, one-handed weapon. Okay, so you can play Blade Runner. So, yeah, that would be really bad for Fang here. But again, I'm worried all about this before we've seen really any cards that could pad out or really inform us as to his overall play style. So it could just be that I want him, and this is true, I do want him to be cool and good because I like Warrior, particularly in Classic Constructed. I think Warrior is one of the more interesting classes to me, but the problem is it's always just been so fair. And once you get good at the game, or at least better at the game than, sort of those beginner stages, Warrior becomes a little bit more linear to play against in some respects. That is not a knock on Warrior players. Don't take it that way. It just so happens that Warrior has these play patterns because of their, I don't even want to say it's because of their card pool, just because of the way that their heroes are constructed that can be fairly approachable to read. Now, whether or not it's easy to play against is a whole nother topic of conversation. Nevertheless, what I see here is a Warrior that I want to be good because he looks really cool. And I want to have the hybrid bolt-in style attack actions into a weapon that matters. But I hope, and I guess I should say, and I hope that it's not too many hoops to jump through. So if I'm missing something, let me know in a comment below, because I very well could be missing something about Fang Drakai of Blades here. I think we just need to see more cards. If I'm missing that as well, let me know that in a comment below. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what Arachne has in store, because I see there are a couple people that are going to be having some spoilers. I think that I would guess that those are going to be expansion slot spoilers, because they lead up to the reveal of Arachne and the Chaos talent. So I guess we'll see. But for right now, sound off below with how you feel about Fang Drakai of Blades, if you're looking forward to Fang or Syndra more. And if you enjoy this type of content, make the number go slightly higher. Numbers going to other numbers is what we do in the Armada. As always, thanks for watching.